What's up, everybody? How you doing? It's Mike Watson in the building from my studio basement in Columbus, Ohio. I hope you're all doing pretty awesome because I am. It's another day of chat and draw. I've got a couple guests coming on today, and I feel like this is going to be another banger. All right, so let's get a couple things out the way. It's Chat and Draw. If you're joining us for the first time and you have no idea what it is, Chat and Draw is a show where I sit down on the virtual art table across from another creative and I draw whatever the subject is today, whether it be a comic book or that person. I draw them and we talk, we chat it up, we have geek conversation, we talk about the IP, the product, or whatever it is that they are promoting currently. And if you're wondering about my credentials, I got them. And that's real easy because I'm the publisher of Short Fuse Media Group, the founder of Freestyle Comics, 1/4 of the Agents of Nerdy, and the most enthusiastic person in comics who's also got a Kickstarter going right now. And if you've been paying attention, I'll put that link in there. So please go support that. And I'll bring that back around a couple times because that's what we do. But yeah, so we're here, and this is our 104th episode of Chat and Draw. Man, 104 episodes. That's crazy. It's 104 illustrations. It's 104 conversations. And if you add up the conversations from the season finales, that's a lot more because I have like 15 people on my season finales. And we've done 3 of them. But we're in the building today, and I've got some awesome guests. I got a co-host today. You might have heard of her. You might know her. I talk about her all the time. She's got a podcast herself. She's a pretty cool lady. And I called her my little comic book sis because we out here kicking it in these comic book streets.
Here comes a new challenger.
What up, Moana?
What's going on, everybody? How's it going?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here, to be with my brother here on Chat and Draw, official sponsor of the Moana Nui podcast, season 2.
There you go. Right there. Getting it in. Please go check her podcast out. She just had a very successful Kickstarter for it. And I just saw you were almost wrapped with season 2 edits.
No, this is season 1. We are about, I would say, more than 50% of the way with season 2 recordings, though.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's what's up. Still a win, either way it goes. All right. So Moana's joining me here today. I've been on Moana's show as well. I love her show. She drops a lot of knowledge. She drops a lot of content. She has amazing creators on her show as well. And we're actually, I don't know, we're shuffling one creator from her show over to mine because the conversation was so good. I had to get a piece of it. So had to tag in on this one. Our creative today is a musical talent. And I want to say our first musical talent on Chat and Draw as we do this whole expansion thing that I've been talking about. That's why Moana is so cool. She knows I want to get more creatives on here. Please, Convo Creatives, my heart is still with you. You will be the meat and source of this show, but we want to look at other creatives as well and what they're doing because there's a lot of talent out here. And we want to help everybody shine as well. Our next guest is Alan Z. Let's bring him up in our traditional.
Here comes a new challenger.
What's up?
What's up, y'all? How you doing?
Doing fine. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
All right. So, Alan, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and why you're here, man.
Yeah, I'm an Atlanta-based rapper, singer, actor. Been in the game for a very long time. I got music on Netflix on a show called Wu Assassins. iZombie, which is a show on CW. A couple of stuff on Amazon Prime, Fox Sports. I've worked with people like Raphael Shadiq from Tony, Full Force, King Los. And I actually just did Dragon Con this year, so I was pretty stoked about that.
Dragon Con?
Yeah, I was a panelist on 2 panels.
Awesome. So the resume is thick here. All right. The resume is thick. First off, props. Having music on a few different shows, Netflix and things like that, that's incredible.
Thank you.
That is incredible. How do we get there? How does that happen?
I think it's a lot of like networking and knowing the right people, but also being prepared. Because like when people say like opportunity is like preparation plus. I'm already forgetting the equation, but I think you know what I'm getting with here. What was it? Preparation meets
Oh.
Luck or something like no preparation meets opportunity equals luck or something like that. So like I just
Mhm.
try, because I've been at this for so long and I've built a pretty strong network of people that like have those kind of connections, and it's like it just happens to be the right material.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So, was that something while we're talking about that formula? Was that something that you set out to do, or was that like you kind of fell into it?
I think I fell into it because I think I've always been like a pretty hard worker in terms of like what I want to accomplish in my goals. So it's not like it was hard for me to get into that mode. I think I had to learn to like be a people person though, because I'm
Mm.
like naturally more introverted, but
Hmm.
because of this industry I'm in, like I had to like I think I'm now an ambivert because of what I do. So it's like I'm used to talking to people now, but my natural state is just I want to be shy and just be like a fly in the wall and observe. But now I'm like I know how to move in in different spaces. So I think that's important too, to like know how to speak the language of the room.
Okay.
That's a good point.
Awesome. Very good point. Moana, you got anything you want to ask? I'm in
Yes, I
transition
do. I
from the
have a
art
couple
now.
questions. So with the art format of today's podcast, what art, animation, or traditional art inspires you?
When we're talking about art, we're talking about like drawing art, right? Or just
Yeah.
well, I'm definitely a big fan of anime for sure. Just because, like I told Moana on her show, like I'm pretty new to it actually because, um, I don't know, I just resisted it for so long just because I felt like that was like the stereotypical thing for an Asian person to do. I was just like, I don't want to be one of them. But then my friends like kept pushing me. I was like, you have to watch, you have to watch. So I started with Hunter x Hunter, and then from there I watched Attack on Titan, which I fell in love with. Um, My Hero Academia, Yu Yu Hakusho, Full Metal Alchemist, Gungrave, which is also fantastic. Samurai Champloo, Trigun, a lot of classics. So
Hmm.
I just fell into that rabbit hole, and I just, like I definitely understand why it's so like big now, or just in general why it's so big.
Dude, that's a great question that Moana asked. I'm really glad she did because now we can segue into how you got into anime because I thought that story was awesome and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah. So okay, so obviously when I was a kid, I watched anime without knowing I watched anime. You know what I mean? Like, cause I watched Pokemon, Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh. I was a huge fan of all those stuff. But as like at that time, it wasn't cool to like Asian stuff. You know what I'm saying? So like, you just got made fun of for liking anything Asian. Like, so I definitely avoided it in middle school and high school, as especially as I started getting into like hip hop, because that became my entire like obsession. But as I got older, like, I just noticed everyone in my friend group, and like, by the way, all my friends are black, and I'm like, they all watch anime, and I'm like, what is so good about anime? I'm the Asian one here. I'm like, why are you educating me about anime? So I'm like, all right, there's got to be something, and then so they're like, bro, watch anime, just watch, and they were like recommend shows, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna pick one that you guys recommend. So when I started watching Hunter x Hunter, like I was like, I get it. It's like it starts off campy, but then it gets real, and I'm like, okay, I like this. It's like you got a little bit of everything. Like you got like the like the camaraderie. You have like the action. You have the suspense. You have the dark parts that's like super gory that you can't put on like a children's show in like America. So I'm like, it's like a gumbo pot.
Awesome. So, why do you? Because actually, so I know we discussed the Hunter, X Hunter is your jam, and I'm turning you into the main character from that. But why do you relate to Hunter x Hunter? Why do you relate to Gon?
It was definitely the friendship because like I like my friends like, bro, you're gone, just watch. If you were a kid, you would be gone. So I'm like, I watched for that. Obviously, if you tell me I'm like someone, I want to watch it.
Mhm.
So um so I started noticing like parallels between like my friend group and that like Gong, Killua, Leorio, and Kurapika. You know what I mean? So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, I see little similarities because like my best friend in real life is very much like Killua in terms of like just being very cold and like just aloof, but being very OP.
Mhm.
And then like I have another friend that's very much like Luario, just like because he's super tall but also kind of goofy. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Yeah.
this is cool. It's like I get why people like get drawn to these series because it's like it's almost like you're watching your real life, except none of us have superpowers, but you're watching all of them level up and have all these amazing abilities that we wish we all had. You know what I mean?
Right. That's awesome. I remember watching Hunter X Under, and I tried to watch it at first, and I couldn't get into it. And then, as always, which I feel like is a rule with anime, you find that one episode that pulls you in, and then like you're fully invested into it. Um, and I got real excited because we watched it on Netflix, me and my daughter, and it like stops at like episode 60,
Hmm.
but we got HBO Max, and
Mm.
the rest of the episodes are on there. So we're in the process of trying to finish it.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's great. I think it gets really good at the second to last arc.
Yeah, it's pretty deadly where we're at right now.
Yeah.
But now, with any of your music, I mean, this is kind of a silly question, but I like to explore and hear it. How much has anime or comics influenced your lyrics?
I've always dropped like comic book bars like every now and then, you know, but anime is something I definitely started pulling from for like just bars recently, like I would say from 2018 onward. So that's really cool because I always like to draw from like source material and like especially if I can do like some kind of cool reference or punchline out of it, you know. And so yeah, like I would say moving forward there's definitely gonna be a lot more like references to like shows and just like characters and stuff like that.
Okay,
I don't want to spoil like which songs, but I always if I can find it a pocket that fits, I'll definitely do it.
awesome, awesome, awesome. So I know this is going to be a hard question. Top five rappers of all time for you?
That's
Oh,
not okay. That's not too hard. I think about this all the time because I always get into these debates. So mine is a little controversial just because I'm gonna put it out there. Eminem is my favorite of all time, but Eminem, Rakim, Big Pun, Crooked Eye,
Okay.
and Black Thought from the Roots.
I don't think there's anything controversial about that. I always get into arguments with people about Eminem, and I'm like, dude, he's dope. I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah.
know a lot of y'all don't like what he talk about, but that man is a lyricist.
Right.
He pure bars,
Hmm.
pure bars.
Hmm.
I just am impressed with everything that he says. So I'm right up there with you. What did you think about what Snoop said about Eminem not even being in his top 10?
Well, I don't really want to get into that because I think there was some kind of tension, but they're cool now. So
Hmm.
like, I was, I mean, but at the same time, it's like like everyone's entitled to their opinion. Like, so it's just because his top 10 doesn't include M doesn't mean that I have to follow suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like,
right,
everyone listens to hip hop for different reasons.
for sure. Yeah, it's like every other fandom. You can battle for days.
Hmm. Yeah, that's actually very true. Yeah,
Yeah.
the hip hop fandom is actually very toxic. So I
Yeah.
try, I try my best not to get into those as far as like arguments.
Okay. Yeah, I remember when I first discovered, like, so, here we go. What's your origin story? Who
Mm.
was the musician, the artist, the rapper, whatever that got you to say, this is it, this is what I want to do, it's settled?
Oh, I think I mean, I think I pretty much answered on the earlier question, but yeah, it was definitely Eminem. Like I
Mm,
remembered clearly when I was 10 and I saw the music video for the Real Slim Shady on MTV, and I was like, "What is this?" And because at that time it was like all like NSYNC and like Britney Spears and all fluffy and
Yeah.
stuff, and then
mhm.
he came in and was like the anti like pop, and so that was my first introduction into it. And then I think I watched like the Source Awards after that, right? And then I saw like Jay Z and all these guys like they had like smoke, what's it called? The smoke. What is it? What's the thing when it blows smoke, but it's like a machine, like a fog
Oh,
machine?
the
So it
fog
just made
machine.
them
Yeah.
look really cool. And I was like, yo, rappers are like my superheroes. You know, I'm looking at all these dudes. Like it's like they're superhuman to me because like they had this control of like the crowd and like with the microphone. So I remembered in fourth grade, like on career day for like school, I wrote that I wanted to be a rapper, and like everybody just laughed at me. You know what I mean? And then like it went on. Like in middle school, I told everyone, "Oh, yo, I want to be signed to like like Shady Records." And
Mhm.
again, everybody laughed at me, and so I had a really tough time adjusting in school because of how like naive I was, not understanding the racial dynamics. It's like dude, you're not
Mm,
black. You're not supposed to say stuff like that. Like you want to be a rapper. You're Asian. That's what like I got throughout my whole life. You know what I mean? So I was just like this shy, timid kid that had this like way with words, but like people just didn't accept it at that time because of like just ignorance and just like how they perceived like what an Asian person is capable of doing. So from there, like I knew I had to move because like I bounced around a lot from like Maryland to Seattle. So the third place in America that I moved to was Atlanta in my late
Mm,
teens, and that was where I found like my confidence to like actually like pursue it because I was gaining like a following, you know, and I was gaining that following in the black community. You know, like the first instance of me like actually getting some kind of notoriety was I won like this battle rap tournament and on campus, and
mm,
so everyone was like, "Yo, who's the Asian guy? How do you just destroyed 8 rappers in once?" And so like that kind of added to like the mythical side of it, you know. And then I was like, "Oh, this could actually work," you know. So and I started meeting with like people around town who was like, "Yo, I'm interested in pitching you to this, pitching you that." So I actually started being involved in the business side of it in terms of like taking meetings with producers and like A&Rs and stuff like that. So it was like stuff that I couldn't imagine doing, when I was in high school. So from there, it's been like an emotional roller coaster because like a lot of people, because they were all like non-Asian, they didn't know what to do with an Asian artist. So there was a lot of ignorant things they would say, like, why don't you just like go back to like Asia, or why don't you like say something in like Mandarin in your music? Why don't you why don't we just pitch you to like let's just take you to like an Asian, like everything was so like Oriental, you know what I mean, like super stereotypical like ideas. So most of the situations I was in, like actually no, all of them I walked away from because I
mm,
felt like they didn't understand like the what I was trying to do. Because I just wanted to be an artist, but I had obviously like the Asian American side to me because it's part of my identity. So
Mhm.
as of recent, I realized that the problem isn't just hip hop; it's bigger than hip hop. Like Dead Prez said, like the problem is like the world and how it views Asian Americans. We don't have our narratives written down. I'm like, before I like do business and with like the sharks, I want to be able to claim my narrative first, like so they can't tell me what I should be, because most of the people when they think race, they think of it in a binary narrative, like black and white. Asians
Mhm.
are just like we're just the others. So like you can just pitch us wherever you see fit.
mm,
So it's like I had two elements to me before. It was like the LL Cool J effect of the lover and the fighter. I had the songs for the ladies, and I also had like battle rap stuff for like the dudes because that's what I'm obsessed with, like competitive rapping. Just because I'm like a super rap nerd in that sense. But then now I added this like awakened side of like the like the conscious, like the smart intellect side, which is like where I can talk to you about Asian American history, how we relate to the racial paradigm of America, and why we are this way, and how we're positioned in this country. So like all this like nerdy like intellect stuff, I added that to like my skill set, and now I feel like the complete Alan Z that was
okay.
missing before. So that's pretty much my origin story.
All
So
right.
yeah,
That's dope. I like that. Um, when, excuse me. So, with all that being said, can you remember the moment you felt like you yourself, like you felt like it was proven, it was done, like that you felt like I'm a rapper, I'm here to stay, like I have these bars and I've just proven myself to people, like where you just knew that that was it, even though other people may not have said it, but for you yourself, like what did that feel like? Like, was it like heartbeat heavy, and you was like really just like did it all click?
yeah, like my palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are
Yeah,
heavy for sure. But
was it one of
no,
those moments?
I think that moment definitely was when I won that like battle rap tournament for sure. Like, cause I
Hmm.
was like, I mean, I went in just like with all these like lines in my head, and I just started freestyling. Like, I said terrible things to people that made people cry. Like, and that was just like that was like my first like like indication that like, oh, like this actually people are recognizing that this is a skill that I have, because I used to freestyle in high school and people like would just look at me like I was insane. They were like, how is like you look at me like a freak of nature. It's like you're not supposed to be able to do that. And then from there, like, I started like doing actual performances, and it was like R&B and jazz type performances too because I sang. So like I wanted to like be able to be in that space of not just hip hop, but just like an overall like where I can bend genres, like
Hmm.
Drake, Childish Gambino, people like that, like Andre
Mhm.
3000. That was what I was really into because it's like I'm such a like free spirited artist. I don't want to be confined to just one like pigeonholed box of who I should be as an artist. So I would definitely say though, like throughout all my years I would say these recent years are like this that like is where I feel like okay, I've definitely arrived, where like
Okay.
nothing is missing. Where it's like a point where I can say that like my confidence is undeniable in what I can do. You know, like and before it's like I had it, but there was definitely that insecurity where like if someone says something, I would just like completely just lash out. Now it's like I know enough about myself to know how good I am at what I do.
Hmm.
You know,
So did you feel when you first started rapping? I know, like when anybody does, well, maybe, but when anybody does anything, it's like you just want to do it. You don't want to feel the responsibility of having to carry, your culture or anything like that. You just want. Did you ever feel that moment, or was there a gradual change of, okay, yeah, I do have to represent my culture and who I am. I just can't go out here and rap.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, mind you, I started like super young, so I had no idea what I was doing when I was 13. You know what I mean? I was just
Hmm.
just rapping over instrumentals and trying to get signed. But I do remember this one time when I was 13 and I rapped for this record label exec over the phone, and he's like, yo, he's like, the fact that you rhymed to like, still added with Illmatic at 13, you're insane. He was just like, he just, got my confidence like through the roof. So I remembered like these moments of like validation from like certain like I guess people in the industry when I was like super young, and I was offered like
Hmm.
my first deal when I was like 15. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
so like it all that time, like I was mentioning earlier with the whole like label situations, I didn't want to be that guy to like mention Asian stuff all the time because we saw
Right.
how it worked out with Jin. It's like it didn't work. Learn Chinese, and I was like, like you don't want to look like be looked seen as corny, right? But
Hmm.
then like what really did it for me was like this conversation I had with my friend Jason. It was like 2017 when we did our song Dojo,
Yes.
which is like my biggest like Spotify song because it has like over 300,000 streams right now.
Hmm.
And like we were having this conversation like how do we like balance like the artistic side, but like and also like not shy away from like Asian American identity because it's like that's a touchy thing, right? It's like America, what if you're not ready for that? Because the majority of America isn't Asian. We're the smallest minority. We're like 5-6% of the nation, right? So he was like, think about this, like think about 50 Cent getting shot 9 times and not talking about it. So when people see you, they see us, they immediately think Asian. If you don't say anything about it, it's like they're like, "What are you trying to hide?" So it's like at surface level, you have to address it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So on that level, I'm like, "Oh, I get it," because we are very like judgmental people. We judge because it protects us. Because it keeps us safe. So I'm like, on that level, I understand. But then with the whole COVID hate crime stuff that happened in 2020, I'm like, dude, I have to represent for my race because it's like, who else is gonna do it? It's like, yeah, there's a couple, but it's like, it's got to be a collective of people. I can't shy away from this no more. So that's when I started writing a lot of like Asian empowerment type like pieces, and that stuff started going viral on the internet. So I was like, oh, maybe people are ready for this. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I was like, wow, like this may be the time for me to actually do like represent for my culture without, like you said, without looking corny. Because when I started, like I had this Asian American history piece that I wrote, which I will turn into like a full song, like that had like over like 200,000 views like across like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And it was like a lot of people being like, whoa, I didn't know this. You made
Hmm.
history sound cool. Like I wanted to learn about this. And I'm like, yo, I didn't I don't want to come off like preachy. So it was like a moment. I'm like,
Yep.
maybe this, like because everyone wants to be so woke now, it's like maybe that can be a plus. Like knowledge now is an asset. It's a currency that people are yearning to have. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
that's combining with my ignorant stuff. I still talk about battle rap type stuff and like stuff for the ladies that isn't about nothing. You know what I mean? But it's something I wanted to combine with the intellectual stuff.
So, Ellen, with tracks like Asian American history, is that something that was like a part of your upbringing at the home, or was that more of your own personal research as you became, older and into adulthood?
That would definitely be like my personal interest. Like I remember when I was a teenager, I would be always Googling like stuff about Asian American stuff. So I was a very big aficionado of like Asian American like artists, like rappers, right? And films. And then like I would I mean my researches were not that good. I was just going on Wikipedia at that time. So I
Like
learned
all of
about
us.
stuff like Yellow Peril, the idea of like how Orientalism, the concept, threatens America. So they see us as a threat, you know what I mean? So they try to
Mm.
neutralize us and silence us. The idea of the bamboo ceiling, where like no matter how good we are, there's this cap of how far we can go in the executive corporate world, where we
Yep.
can't be made a leader. So it's like we're stuck being the workhorse. The idea of like Orientalism, where like everything we do is seen as lesser because it's not Western. You know what I'm saying? So like the idea
Yeah.
of like Asian food being gross, anime being like weird, K-pop being like whatever that's contributed from an Asian place, it's considered inferior, right? So
Mhm.
I was always interested, but I think as I got older, I started to understand these concepts. Before I'm just like, yo man, that's racist, but I didn't know how to back it. Now it's like I can go into history and know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
yeah, so I think honestly, man, like knowledge really is power because you can win a lot of arguments if you're smart enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Looks like we have a few questions in the chats
Sure.
coming up here.
Oh,
Uh,
sorry. Check
no,
those.
Jen, I did not practice the correct way to do push ups. I told you I'm not going to. You will take them as I give them, and I place all blame on my third grade gym teacher. We're moving on. All right. All right. Dana says, "What's up? What are the top five characters you related to in an anime, TV, or movie series?"
Oh, nice, man. That's hard because at first I thought she was just gonna say anime, but now that's like everything. So,
Yeah.
oh man, fuck. Man, that's hard. Because I watch a lot of stuff, man. I would say let's just get one out of the way. Said TV, right? TV or anime?
Yep. She said TV.
Okay. I would definitely say like one would as a kid would be Gong. So let's just get that out of the way from Hunter x Hunter.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know if you guys have seen a show called Gungrave, which I mentioned it's an anime.
I've
Um,
seen it.
okay, great. So before Harry becomes a psychopath, that's me. Like when he was humble and like growing into himself and wanting to have that ambition. So I'm Harry before he becomes the head of the organization. So if that makes
Okay.
sense, yeah,
Yeah, that
because
makes
of his
sense.
ambition and like just how he was like hungry for like just wanting to be heard and the power. Um, man, I would say um I would say Jim from The Office because of his like dry humor. It's like very. I always feel like if I was white, I'd be Jim. Like it just so yeah. That's three.
I love that you brought up Jim. The Office is one of the greatest sitcoms of all
Yeah.
time.
It's so good. It's so good. Um.
Did you see that?
Oh yeah. Go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
Go
no.
ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you see that when they moved it to the Peacock app, that
I
they
did.
showed a deleted scene that they never showed before
Mm-hmm.
when Jim and his wife play a prank on. I'm terrible with names. The
Dwight.
guy they always pranking,
Dwight.
Dwight. They did the Matrix prank on him.
Yeah. My friend actually sent that to me. Yeah, that's hilarious. I'm surprised that was deleted. It was like that's such a well written like scene.
Yeah, I'm like, why didn't you guys keep that? That was just like, and the fact that he said red pill, like he wants to stay in this world because of
Yeah.
Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
that's like such a Dwight thing. It was perfect.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to come back to you on the other two. I just have three because I was not prepared for that question.
Oh, we still got time, so no,
Yeah,
you're
you
good.
know Dana got all the good questions.
Yeah.
And then she comes in. A lot of artists are known that they gain inspiration and write their hit songs from it. Has anyone or anything inspired some of your songs?
As far as like other art or like life, what was the question?
Has A lot of artists are known that they gain inspiration and write their hit songs from it. Has anyone or anything inspired some of your songs? Like, have you been inspired by somebody in your life that has helped you create your music, or an experience with people that has made you say, "Let me write down how I'm feeling about this"? I believe that is what she's asking.
Yeah. I would say that's like probably like 90% of like my songs. It's like I have songs where I'm just writing to pitch to like sync on like TV shows and movies where I have no like attachment to whatsoever. But
Hmm.
most of the time, it's like something that happened and that will trigger me to like write something. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Mm,
I would say experience and just like ideas that come to mind from like I don't know, just like random thoughts.
Okay. Moana.
hmm.
So you see how I got this hand right here and the circle behind it? Each one of these sections are
Yeah.
completely closed off. So if I grab the color and I want to drop it in here, it'll just
Got it.
fill. If
Okay.
I grab it and drag it, if you look at the top of my screen right here on my drawing board, there's a thin blue bar.
Yeah.
And if I hold it on there, that will tell you how much you want to actually fill.
Okay.
So like if you fill it all the way up, then it's gonna select more and more stuff. But the less you have it, you can set that to your discretion.
Got it. Okay.
Moana just got an iPad. She's learning how to use Procreate. So,
Oh, nice.
so when I'm coming across some stuff, I'm just trying to flag her some tips.
I'm
I'm
trying
I'm
to be.
always impressed with like just artists who can draw on like any kind of technological device. It just seems because I can barely sign my name on like the computer, so it's like I'm just at the very minimum. It's just this is just very impressive to me.
I agree. It's looking dope, Mike.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
hand looks awesome.
Yeah, Mike does good hands.
Hmm.
I love drawing hands. Thank you very much. But this Apple Pen it's like cheating though. This Apple Pen is an
Oh,
amazing
cool.
tool.
It
It
is.
is literally like having a pen or pencil in your hand. I commend Apple on their work on this one, even though they're greedy bastards.
Oh
Right.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. All of that.
All right, so are you video game hit?
I started. Yeah, I'm not like I avoided it for a long time because I thought I wasn't good at it. Like I'm notoriously bad at Halo, so people always make fun of me for that. I think that scarred me like for a very long time. Like I'm just oh my god, I was so bad at it. Like people just sneak up behind me and just shoot me and I just get mad. I just stop playing. But then when I got a PS4, I realized I'm pretty good at fighting games. Like I'm like pretty good at Tekken. So
Mm,
I gained my
Yeah.
confidence back, right? And then I'm okay at Mortal Kombat, but Tekken's like my jam. I'm just like, yo, like I want smoke, you know. And then I started experimenting too, like with other games, and which led me to like other I guess insight on what I could play. You know, so Sleeping Dogs is a recent favorite of mine, just because
okay.
the idea of it being like a GTA game, but it's like Asian characters set in Hong Kong. I'm like, yo, like you
That's
sold
dope.
me, And then I beat the game, and I'm like, there's so many different types of things you can do. Like there's like melees, like actual fights, like there's detective work, like stealth, like puzzles, and there's also shootouts. And so I was scared about that because I'm like, yo, I know how bad I am at Halo. But then when I started, actually knowing how to aim and like like do all these missions where I'm shooting people in cars, and I'm like, yo, maybe I can get more into shooters because I can get over my fear of being bad at Halo, and just get into other shooters and develop this skill I've always wanted, because I see friends playing Call of Duty. I'm like, oh, I would suck at this. I'm like, I don't have the reflexes for this, but I think I just want to get into it, man. I want to try and learn, and get into more stuff like Apex Legends and Warzone, all that stuff.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people don't realize is that when you play video, like it's the same thing with anime. You got to find the right game. When you find the right game, it gets you
Yes.
comfortable with playing video games, and then
Mm.
you start exploring more stuff. But I'm right there with you. I suck at first person shooters, man. Like I'm
Oh man, yeah.
Call of Duty. I don't even bother. I am constantly getting killed. I just do the story mode because it's like action packed and it's fun.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah,
that online business, I have a personal rule. I play games to be a god. All right.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't, I don't play a game to be smacked in reality with my feebleness in being able to aim at somebody. 2K, 2K, 20. I'm trying to be Michael Jordan, LeBron James. That's how I want to play my game.
Oh, funny story. When I was a kid, right? My favorite player is always Kobe Bryant, right? So I
Mhm.
remember because I was just obsessed with Kobe. So like when I had 2K as a kid, I would literally only I made him his worst stereotype. I would literally just shoot with Kobe all the time because because I played season mode and I wanted him to have the highest stats out of anyone. It was just thinking back. It was so stupid because it's like, damn, like he got 0 assists, but he has 101 points per game. You know what I mean? But
Hey,
yeah,
it's your game. You play
yeah.
it
Oh
your
yeah, yeah,
way.
yeah,
Because to me, video games I love video games, but they're supposed to be stress relief. They're supposed to be an escape. They're supposed to be fun.
yeah.
Um, like what's that? Demon Soul or whatever, the game that's like super hard that has no save points, like Shinobi, like the new Shinobi they
What?
brought back. Like
No
no,
save points? No, I can't do that, bro.
yeah,
I can't. No, I need an auto save. If I get like a
Right.
drink of water, I need you to save that because that could save
yeah,
my life in a game.
I know
I'm not
that's
playing with
right.
that though. Uh,
exactly. Have you have you tried to go back and play like the old school games, like Super Mario and stuff, like the 8-bit and 16-bit ones?
the closest I got was Crash Bandicoot. So I got the remastered version for PS4, and they
Hmm.
made it harder than like the original games. But thankfully, I beat Warped, which is the third version. But they made the first and second Crash ridiculously hard, and
The,
so it involves a lot of profanity every time I play and a lot of screaming. It's just I can't. I just at one point I was just like I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just gonna like you said. I want to play Warped because I know I can beat it. I know
mhm.
these levels well. I'm not playing with the ones where it makes me look like I can't. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I realized how hard Super Mario Brothers and like the Ninja Turtles games were
Oh
on
yeah.
Nintendo NES. Because like I went back and tried to play it, and I'm hitting. I'm like, where the hell is the dodge button? There's no dodge button. It's just up and down and jump.
Hmm.
But the
It's so
arcade
true.
one was so fun.
Oh yeah, those arcades are classic. Did
Hmm.
you get to do any of that arcade stuff? Like go into arcades?
Oh yeah, man. Back before COVID, I would always go to like Dave and Buster's. That was
Okay.
so
Yeah.
fun for me. Yeah, yeah. I love that.
What was your jam at Dave and Buster's?
I like doing the basketball thing, which is in a video game, but just
Yeah.
shooting hoops is fun. And also they had Injustice on the thing, like the actual arcade, which is fun. And also I believe they had Tekken Tag, which was
Mhm,
so cool because I didn't have that game, so I like to. And of course, like people didn't like playing with me because I would beat them. You know what I mean?
mhm,
But like that was fun. That was very fun. And they have like really fun mini games too. Like just random stuff that I wouldn't play in real life. Like there's a trivia game that I like just because the nerdy side of me is just like, yo, I just want to know how much I know. It's like
mhm.
that's fun. And there's like a shooter type game too in Dave and Buster's, I believe, like where you can hold like a gun. It's like a zombie game. Those are fun
Yeah,
too. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
suck at those, but those are fun.
yeah, and I think that's all that like really matters at the end of the day, man. It's just
Exactly.
having a good time with it.
Hmm.
But like there are people that are professional. Like I mean, making
Yeah,
money playing video games. I would have never thought that would be a thing. That they're having full blown tournaments like League of Legends.
yeah.
I can't remember where it takes place, where they hold their championship game, but it has like more viewership than the Olympics.
Wow.
It's crazy, and like they're paying these kids like bank.
I, what's funny too is like when I was a kid, I had a policy which was I could only play video games on the weekends, and I could only play for 30 minutes or 60 minutes max. So I never
Mhm,
I never had a chance to like hone my skills, if you know what I mean. I was just literally playing at the minimum, but then like then there's like friends that play for hours and they get super good at one game. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So who's your character in Tekken?
Uh, Definitely martial law, just because I
Mhm.
love Bruce Lee. But two other characters I'm pretty good with is Eddie Goro and Devil Jin.
Oh,
There's
okay.
there's a couple there's a couple like female characters that are really good. Like Ling Xiaoyu is really good. Raven, I think there's like a female Raven. She's incredible. Because she can teleport, which I love.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, and also King. King's tight too with like grapples.
All right. So was there anything that you wanted to do besides before the music came into your life?
Uh, yeah. Oh, you want to hear a really embarrassing story? So when I
Of
was
course.
before, before I wanted to be a rapper, and this was like literally like a month before I wanted to be a rapper. I think I saw like Tony Hawk or something, and I was like, oh man, I want to be a skater because it just looks
Yes.
so cool. And I was like, man, they get all the girls, and this was like third grade or something. I was like, oh man, they get all the girls. Like Avril Lavigne talks about skater boys. I'm like, oh, this is it. you know, what I mean? and and then I realized I could not skate because one other thing is too. My dad was like, yo, you cannot skate and break your head, so you're wearing a helmet. And all the kids laughed at me. I was like, you know what? I'm not built out for this. I was like, I cannot go around the neighborhood skating with a helmet on. This is ridiculous. So I quit that, and I was like, all right, I want to be a basketball player. And then I'm 5'9". I've never gotten past that. So I'm like, either I'm gonna be have incredible hops or this is not gonna happen for me. So yeah, I just rapping was just something. It seemed like all right, skill wise, I know I can do it. Story wise, I know there's something there. So
Hmm.
that's something I just was like, I have to be able to break through because there's something to be said about the spoken word that is so powerful that breaks through like racial barriers and like just all these like different types of preconceived notions.
Awesome. Dana's got a couple more questions. If you could give advice to your younger self, what would you say?
I would tell him to be grateful for like the moment because like if you don't appreciate like the present, like you're never gonna get it back. I didn't realize this as a
Hmm.
kid, but like some of my favorite moments I only enjoyed in hindsight, and that's something I
Hmm.
never want to do ever again because I don't know, like you can never get those moments back, you know?
Can you go a little bit deeper on that? Like you said, you enjoyed it in hindsight. You got like, can you give like an example?
Yeah, so I remembered from like 2015 to like 2018 I was traveling heavy because I was performing on the circuit of like just festivals, events and conventions and stuff. And I remember just being so grumpy because I was such a diva because it was like everything was just like oh man, like I don't want to be I deserve the big stage. I deserve this. I deserve this. And it was just my ego. It was just like I was just unbearably like egotistical at that moment, like at that time period, you know. So I didn't
Hmm.
enjoy the moments. It's like, dude, I made friends along on the road. It's like, dude, it's like, yo, I have friends in different cities. People can't say that in real life, you know. It's
Hmm.
like I can just like, yo, I'm in LA, and there's like, I can live in my friend's house, and we can go around like LA and just like Hollywood and live like a very like typical like douchey like celebrity lifestyle, you know. Like I can go to New York, I can go in and feel like I'm part of the neighborhood because I had friends that brought me in. It's like damn, I had such great memories in hindsight. And so I think the lesson I learned from this pandemic was like moving forward, all these travel moments or just in general with people, I'm just gonna cherish, you know, because
Hmm.
you never know what can happen in this world, like with something like this where everything stops and it's like seeing people could be a risk to your life because of this virus and whatever. So yeah.
That is so true. Like I
Yeah.
remember back in the well, when we were still on MySpace.
Yeah.
And and that's like when I used to travel a lot for my job, and I would be, in these countries, and for the most part, I'd be by myself. I mean, I had coworkers, but my personal time was like mostly by myself, and I would just be sitting down, like in a pub, like in front of a hotel or something, and just really like reflecting and reminiscing. And I used to write down like these great things, and I wish I would have saved those things because I could have used them now, doing the things that I do now. Um,
Hmm.
And so, yeah, what Alan said just kind of really resonates. Like just appreciating all of the moments, especially like now that things are so crazy and busy, and we have, we tend to plan things ahead, um, but a lot of times we forget to like celebrate that current victory, whatever we're in right in that moment, because we're already thinking about the next thing.
Right.
Um, but yeah, man, I guess that's one of the biggest things that I like about COVID is it's shitty, yeah, but it forced all of us to sit back and just kind of be like, okay, what is going good in my life? What should I be appreciating at the end of the day? Like if something happens to me, what's my legacy? What am I gonna leave for people? What are they gonna remember about me?
Hmm.
Right. Truer words. Moana.
Huh?
So I just tried to drop this here in that layer. You
Oh
see, I
yeah,
just
it
built
was
up the
doing
whole
that to
thing.
me.
That's because I'm not on the correct layer, and the layer that I tried to do it on is not closed off.
Okay.
So you got to make sure you're on the right layer. And like, so if I merge these two down, now it's closed off. Now I can fill in that spot that I'm trying to fill in.
Okay. That makes sense. Man, this looks really good. I can't wait till this is finished.
All right. So we've talked about the anime, talked about your gamer life. What is going on with you and your music right now? What do you have cracking?
I just released a single like a few weeks ago. It's called "The Chip," which is like a very
Yes.
bar heavy song. Um, it's a bop as these kids would say nowadays, I guess. But yeah, like my music has been, it's been really progressing in a very positive in a really good way because like I just been writing a lot. I've been getting a lot of inspiration to just write stuff that's like hard hitting but also substance heavy. And I think it really came about because of like just, I mean, it's like I'm not really distracted. I have so much time to actually think and like, come up with stuff and be in the zone. And also me having like now a home setup, like I can record whenever I want.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so the output has been really great, and I'm really excited for the projects I have coming in 2021, which I can't talk about now, but like it's in the works. So yeah, I'm just very excited for like individual projects as well as like collaborative projects I have in the works.
That's dope.
Awesome. So, what has been the biggest loss that taught you the most?
Ooh.
Mm, that's hard. I mean, I remember this one moment, and I'll never forget it. I think this might be the one. The one. Um, so I was uh I was part of this contest to open up for Royce the 5'9", which is like one
Mhm.
of my favorite rappers. And it was like this was 2016. I had just gotten off the plane, but I was I saw like um the invitation, and it was like free, and I was like, okay, all right. And then I saw a bunch of my friends like in line for it as well. But I remember at that time I was just like super nervous. I wasn't the confident person as I am now, and
Mhm.
whatever. And I remember getting on and to the place, like, and I was when it was my turn. I remembered I did because maybe like 20 bars to do, but I only knew 16 bars by heart because like the other four I just added randomly. So I remembered spitting my 16, and then everyone being like, "Oh, he's good, he's good, he's gonna get in, he's gonna be the top three." And then I just blew it because I went past the 16 to finish my 20 because it was just like on an OCD level. I wanted to finish that thought, but I didn't remember and I choked, and I was like, "Oh
Mm.
my god, this is so embarrassing." And I remembered when I did, I was like, I want to give up. This is so embarrassing. I'm never gonna recover from this. And I remember Royce's brother, Kid Vicious, like talking to me afterwards. He's like, bro, like I don't know why you did that. It's like you had the 16, we were gonna pick you, but we can't legally now because you messed up. But he was like, you know what, just come me, Royce. Just come with us. So that evening after the concert, I went backstage, and then I got to rap for Royce, and he was like, "Yo, you're dope." Like my friend caught it on camera, which is a really cool moment. But
All right.
I think the lesson there was one, like have control of your nerves, but
Mhm.
also know at that time what you're capable of. Like if you don't
Mm.
remember something, don't be an idiot and like think you can do it. Because when your nerves like kicking in, you're definitely gonna like panic. So that's something I learned is like, oh, one, also be prepared, but also two, like do what you can. Like don't overdo something if you're not ready for it. So yeah.
So, do you think it was? I know you said partly you wanted to just finish it because you were in that mode, but do you think because you spit the hot 16, the hypeness of the crowd added to it, like you wanted to deliver more because of that?
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And I shouldn't have fed into that for sure.
I need the pencil. Let's see here. Oh, Dana's got another one. What three people, alive or dead, would you want to sit down and talk with, and what would you ask? Dana's out here.
um I mean, obviously, first one would be Eminem, just because like he's my hero. So I'd literally talk about like just everything, just like hip hop and like life being like outsiders of like a culture that doesn't belong to you as your your
Mm.
race.
Mm.
Um, that's the first one, obviously, because I would first lead with like, yo, you like literally saved my life, with your music. I definitely would want to sit down and talk with Bruce Lee, just because he's another icon of mine.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Michael Jackson, because I felt like he was very misunderstood and
Yes.
also a creative genius. So having a chance to talk to him would be
I feel like
awesome.
you're a friend that I never knew I needed to
Right.
know. Like I felt that entirety of the answers of those three
Yeah.
picks.
I would say that the next one will probably be like Tupac because he's
Mm,
another like genius. You know what I mean?
dude.
Like,
Mhm.
the fifth one, I would say maybe Prince, just because he's another like
Yeah.
somebody who like really knew how to like stand on his own too, especially in the industry that we were in. So yeah, that's my five.
That's what's up. Those are some good solid picks.
I agree.
All right. It's time for the geek portion of the show, man. What are you looking forward to most on? We had a lot of announcements. We had a lot of stuff dropping on HBO Max this year. MCU announced all their titles. Star Wars announced all their titles. What are you looking forward to the most?
Uh, I'm definitely looking forward to watching Attack on Titan like season 4. Like I just want to binge
Okay.
watch it when it's completely done because I don't want to be on a cliffhanger. I just want to watch the whole thing. That I'm really hoping for a season 3 for the show called Warrior, which is based
Yes.
on Bruce
Hmm.
Lee's like his memoirs. So right now there's a push for like season 3. They have 2 seasons right now and they're on HBO Max. So
Hmm.
if there's enough interest, I think they'll pick it up for a season 3, which will be great. And my producer Chops does like the music for it. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's a pretty like cool project that like to kind of like to push forward. Think Yeah, those two, and I mean, I'm hoping Hunter x Hunter comes back. I don't know though. Like that's been like in the works for so long, as far as like a because it's on like a permanent, not permanent, but like a very long hiatus. So that would be
Hmm.
my third one.
Isn't like the creator of Hunter x Hunter married to the creator of Sailor Moon?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
That's a power couple.
That's like yeah. I was gonna say an anime power couple.
All right, so I do hope they do Hunter X Hunter because it is a great show.
Oh
I
yeah,
absolutely enjoyed it, and it gets a lot of love for me just because like the fights are epic, but if there's a strategy to each one of the fights. It's
yeah,
not just beat this person down. There's a straight strategy to every fight that they have, and I dig that.
yeah. And I also think that it's good that it wasn't just so focused on one character because you get to
Mhm.
learn like the main characters like as a whole. Like there's a backstory to everyone. And I think how like with Dragon Ball Z, it's like Goku's gonna beat everyone eventually. But
Mhm.
with that, it's like you realize there's people that have like crazy powers. So it's like it's not even comparable. Like Kurapika has this ability where it's like literally it's so powerful that he had to make a condition where he could only use it on certain people. And if he doesn't, he dies. That's how
Yeah.
powerful. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's like stakes with their powers. So
Mhm.
and then even with Gong, it's like I don't want to spoil it, but it's like there's one episode where it's like he goes so overboard, it's like it almost costs his life. You know what I mean? It's like
Mm.
so there's that kind of like interest for me there.
All right. If you could do the soundtrack for any anime, not just your favorite one, the ones you think that you could crush, that fits with your personality and style, which one would it be?
Honestly, like so I know Samurai Champloo is over, but like those type of shows, like Samurai Champloo, Afro Samurai, like even like something like Boondocks, which I wouldn't consider anime, but in that style of like
Hmm.
cartoon, that's something I could see myself really excelling at because it's just I mean most of the stuff is like lo-fi and it's like it's bar heavy, it's
Hmm.
poetic, like yo like I can write that in like 30 minutes. So I think that those would be the type of shows I can really like do a theme song to.
Sink your teeth
Um,
into.
yeah, for sure. Um, obviously I'm not like a rock person, so I can't like do like the kind of rocky type of songs with like My Hero Academia. But if there's like a hip hop type of or R&B type of outro, then definitely like yo honestly one of actually my favorite of all time intro is actually the Yu Yu Hakusho Smile Bomb song.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to that lady, but like that's literally like my favorite like anime intro of all time.
What about that one jumps for you?
It just makes me feel like a kid again. Not that I even saw the show, but it just has that like '90s vibe. You know what I mean? It's like it's so
Mhm.
like happy, even though the show is kind of dark. I don't know. I'm a sucker for like good melodies. You know, if it sticks to me. Um, yeah.
All right. So how old are you again?
I'm in my mid 20s.
All right. So have you ever seen like Knight Rider?
Nah.
Jeez. Oh. All right. So we'll get it closer to your era then. Like when you were a kid, with the TV shows that were coming out during your age range as a kid, which one of those sitcoms would you remix into a song?
Hmm.
Which theme song would you borrow, sample
That is
to make a
hilarious
track?
because you know Wale did a whole mixtape dedicated to Seinfeld. That's funny.
I did
Um
not know that.
yeah, like he did a mixtape about nothing and then an album about nothing, which was Seinfeld themed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love Seinfeld too.
Uh, um Yo, who is that one person? House, that it was like that show
Oh
about the
yeah.
doctor and stuff.
Yeah,
That theme song with Massive Attack, I always loved that beat. So I would want to do something with that. Yeah, like something like that. Um
nice.
and
That was a good show.
yeah, it was. Yeah, for sure. Oh, I mean there's like so many good shows. Like I'm watching the show right now. It's called The Shield. It's about like it's like crooked cops.
Yep.
A lot of
Mhm.
rappers star in it. It's a really good show. If I would do something like around that, that would be tight.
Is that the with the ball headed cop?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what everyone says. Like the ball
Yeah.
guy. Yeah,
Big
that's so
Yeah.
funny.
Dude, he's vicious in that show, man.
Yeah, you know what I love about him is that like this is like one of those shows where it's like yo, like he's a little shorter than everyone, but everyone is scared of him. So it's like that
Mhm.
because most of the times like in TV shows like the dude's like 6'3" or whatever. This guy's like
Mhm.
5'7", 5'8", and it's like everyone's is terrified because he would kick his ass. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And yeah, I just love that about it. It's like he's so bossy, and he just has this like death glare that he's gonna like mess you up.
Yeah, he's problematic, man. That
Mhm.
opening episode where he goes in the room and he's so chill, and then he pulls up the phone book. I'm like, what is he about to do? Oh my god!
Mhm. I remember
Nice.
that.
Michael Chiklis, aka the Thing. That's right.
Yeah, he was the thing.
Oh, he was. Oh, wow, that is right. Wow,
Yeah,
crazy.
he was.
I gotta rewatch that. That is insane.
Oh, don't do that to yourself. Just wait for the new version.
Yeah,
MCU's coming out with a new Fantastic Four.
yeah.
So what one thing in geekdom do you feel like you're a fan of that's your guilty pleasure?
Hmm. Could you name some stuff so I can kind of know what's in the realm of that?
Uh so my daughter watches this one anime with I'm terrible with names, but it has a frog on it, and like he's trying to take over the world, and he's like living with these kids or whatnot. And I watch it with her, and I do enjoy it, but I don't admit it to her.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I'm still a big fan of Digimon, and like most of my friends are over it. So I'd say that's
Mhm.
probably like a guilty pleasure.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Because that
Like,
was a big part of my childhood. Yeah.
yeah, because when I first saw the show, because my daughter has just taken she's on a first class pass to
Mhm.
anime. She's engulfed in it, and I started watching. I was like, "What is this trash? What is this animation's terrible? That wasn't even funny." But then every time I come up there, I find myself staying longer and longer.
Right. Oh,
Such
that was an issue honestly with the the English adaptation of those shows because like everyone would say like the Japanese adaptation, I mean the actual originals of Digimon was a lot darker. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But then the English would like butcher it with terrible humor and like just unnecessarily positive like reinforcement of like, yo, it's teamwork, like super like just campy and corny. So like watching it as an adult, I'm just like, oh my god, I can't bear through this, but I want to see this Digivolution. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
so it's like I want to know the origin story, but this is so not good quality TV. But it's like I just want to know so I can just continue on with the series because I know there's like it ended right, so I want to be able to keep up with it and watch all the more recent stuff. So yeah.
that's crazy. I didn't. I know they changed some stuff. Like we're big fans of Naruto here, but I can't watch the cartoon, the anime anymore because
Hmm.
it's filled with so much filler.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
ridiculous. So I just read the manga. But my daughter like ate it all up. I'm like, that didn't even happen. Like that is nowhere in the manga. Like I don't even
Hmm.
understand the point of this episode. Why are we doing this? And
But
it's
yeah,
just extended out.
funny story is my friend who's a bigger anime watcher than me, right? So he said like I think it's a culture thing where like in Japan they like those kind of episodes like, oh, we go to the beach, we have a rock, like like we have a rock concert with all the main characters, like so that goofy like the you know what I'm saying, like those kind of like filler episodes kind of serve the Japanese like audience a little bit more than us. I
Hmm.
think like culturally we're just like, oh, I want to see this. I want to see you like fight to death. Like that's like the interest, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I think that might be a little bit of that going on where it's like people there are people that generally like that kind of stuff, the filler episodes.
Mm. Have you seen Full Metal Alchemist?
I saw Brotherhood. Yes, I finished that.
All right, so Brotherhood
Hmm.
is the creator's version of Full Metal Alchemist.
Okay.
So they did Full Metal Alchemist first, and because they passed up where the actual creator was in the manga, they just
Hmm.
made up their own stuff. And you can tell, like when you get to the end of the anime, you're like, this cannot be the way that this is supposed to end. And then the
Okay.
actual series creator came out with Brotherhood and was like, no, this is how the story is supposed to be. Um,
Ah.
so my reference is more stuff like that. Like I don't want the creator's story to be controlled in any way. Like I just want to see what the creator intended for these characters. But
Hmm.
if the creator intended for these episodes to be in here, then that's great
Hmm.
because I like how they develop the characters. You can tell when somebody else's hand is in it,
For
trying
sure.
to tell
Yeah.
you what to do. Like
For sure.
M Night Shyamalan trying to tell us that
Oh my
Aang is
god.
pronounced
No, not him, please.
That makes me so angry. Oh, that's another good one. Avatar: The Last Airbender is like top five, one of my favorite shows. I would there we go. So
Absolutely.
another fourth person I relate to is Aang, Aang for sure. So that
Great,
I'm
nice pick.
yeah. So that's definitely somebody. Now that we're on that topic,
Oh, that's a
Aang
dope
is actually
pick
my
right
middle
there.
name, by the way. So yeah,
Shut up.
yeah. It's just spelled different. It's just A-N-G, but it's pronounced Ong. But yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I use that cartoon. I teach a little bit, so I use that cartoon in my teachings. Once I explained to my boss, I was like, "Yeah, this cartoon like covers racism, diversity,
Mm.
culture, religion, relationships, teen angst, friendships, death, life, love. Like in this kid's cartoon, it covers all of that."
Dude, I learned about the seven chakras through Avatar. Insane. You know what I mean? It's like they're dropping so many gems that like you may not
Hmm.
even pick up on. Like the idea of like government sanctioned propaganda. Like you see that in episodes, and it's like
Hmm.
I don't know how they can get away with that with a Y7 rated show. You know what I mean? Like, but it's so good. You forget it. You're watching a children's show.
You absolutely forget that you're watching a kid show, and then for me, it got even better with Cora. And I know a lot of people give her trash, but that show is just as good as Aang's show, man. I desperately want them to do another show.
I kind of got bored with that show. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna
Hey,
try it again, but I just can't. I just didn't have any interest in it, just because. Yeah, I don't know. I think being such a good like big Avatar fan, it was kind of like it was too hard to top. So watching it, it was like, like I get it, but I just was not interested in a sequel. I wanted or a spinoff. I was more interested in like a good sequel where they're adults and Aang has married Katara and it's like now this is their life together. That's something I wanted to see. You know.
hmm I was like that too at first, and the Cora came out like when I was like that was dropping around when I first had my first kid, and she's a girl, so
Hmm. Hmm.
like seeing Cora, and then like my immediate thing was like, oh man, I want my daughter to see like a dope ass chick that can handle herself, that
Mhm.
can fight, and isn't over sexualized and things like
Mhm.
that. And that's what like Korra became like for me. But then when you look at the uh now, don't get me wrong, Korra's not perfect. I do have my issues with Korra, but I enjoy the show. Like all the other characters sing, and Korra has a lot of my thing with Korra that I enjoy so much is she has a lot of struggle. She has a
Mhm.
lot of turmoil. If you look at Aang versus Korra, if you put Korra in Aang's world, there are no problems. Korra
Mhm.
solves all of Aang's problems. If you put Aang in Korra's world, there are no problems. He handles all of that stuff. Aang's
Mhm.
villains are physically intimidating, and that's
Mhm.
right up Korra's alley. But Korra's villains are all mental. They're all mental, and Aang was trained for that. So they
Mhm.
gave you two completely different avatars that had to deal with two completely different things.
Wow,
Hmm.
that's a very good point. It's a very
And
good point.
I think that's some of the frustration people faced while watching that show, because you're thinking like Aang would solve this in no problem. Like this is what
Mhm.
Aang does, but she has a lot of good moments. But Bolin's like my favorite character in Korra.
Mhm.
Is Aang your favorite one out of the whole series?
Yeah, yeah, Aang, and I also like Sokka because Sokka kind of okay. I'll just throw Sokka in there. So I'm kind of like Sokka in real life a little bit too. So that would be my fifth pick for someone I relate to.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Toph will be my character in Aang. I have a rule: whenever I love a show, I know I'm going to love the main character, so I have to pick somebody else to be my favorite character.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Moana, do you have you seen Avatar?
I have not. So like I'm listening to you guys and I'm like, okay, so for someone who's like doesn't watch a lot of anime, which one should I start with?
Oh, Aang.
Okay.
Avatar, the last Airbender, and the first 3 or 4 episodes are a little cringy because it is targeted straight for kids to get
Mm.
kids pulled in. But once you get past them, they're like, "Fuck them kids."
Yeah.
They get it moving.
That is so true because I remember the first episode. I ended up skipping it and then watching like Attack on Titan, and then like a year later I watched the show again because my friend was like, "You have to try it." So it's funny you said that. I remember being feeling like, eh, and then I got into it, like you said.
Yeah. And like
Okay.
again, and Aang deals with a lot of cultural things. He has to deal like the way they handle life and death with Aang is just something you don't see in a traditional cartoon.
Hmm.
It's always punch the problem and solve it. But Aang really had to like deal with that because he was taught nonviolence.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I love how they didn't abandon that.
I mean, the show is super Asian, which is why the adaptation pisses me off so much with the M Night Shyamalan, which I don't even want to get into. But like, there's so many Chinese elements to that show, and it's like, and it's done so well. Where even though the creators are white, like you know that like they know what they're talking about to an extent about like that part of history. You know what I mean? That they're
Hmm.
pulling from.
Yeah, I've never walked out of a theater before, but I did on that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Like my kids got hooked onto the Avatar show, and I came home one day and my wife was showing my son the movie, and like I kicked the remote out of her hand. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, don't do this. This is forbidden in the house.
Seriously, like it's so crazy because it's like I think it was like the only Asian character on the show was like an Indian dude, but he was the villain. It was like, dude, M Night Shyamalan, you're Asian. Why would you do that? You know what I
Right.
mean? But
I don't know, man. I think he got a little carried away. I
yeah.
mean, when we watched it, it was so annoying because it was like the little things. Like, why are the Earthbenders basically doing a whole dance move before they even pick up a boulder? And it
Hmm.
took 6 of them to pick up a boulder.
Hmm.
And the firebenders have to have fire to actually do firebending. That's not a thing. Like none of the movements went with anything at
Hmm.
all. It was. I just hope Netflix don't mess it up.
I think they might because the original creators walked out of it. So, but
Yeah,
Oh
you know, we'll
no.
see.
they did.
Yeah.
So I'm just praying and hoping. So man, this is the piece. Just got it finished. You and Hunter X Hunter. I hope you like it. Is the replay of the drawing or whatnot. What's up, Jay man? Thank you. Hey Steve, what's up? How you doing?
Yeah, I like that it does the replay. That's cool.
Yeah, Procreate will do that every single time you use Procreate. And I will be sending this to you, Alan, as well. This is your piece. You can do whatever you want with it.
Nice. Yeah, I'll definitely post this for sure.
I will say I always like the little awkward pieces of it of my pieces, but your hair was definitely fun as hell to draw.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I was looking forward to drawing your hair. I just love how you have it set up. It
Oh,
was
thanks.
perfect for an anime character.
Yeah, right. That is funny
Thank
because I'm playing Jump Force right now, which is like the kind of like the
Oh yeah.
novelty anime game. And then when
Mhm.
I made my avatar, I was like, dude, I have this hair. Like the preset is me. It was funny.
That's awesome. It's always good when you go in and make a character and exactly what you need is there.
Hmm.
Alan, if you can tell everybody where they can find you, your social media and stuff like that.
Yeah. So you guys can follow me everywhere at Alan Z Music. That's ALANZ Music, and all my music is on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, YouTube, Pandora, Tidal, all under Alan Z, ALN, last initial Z.
Awesome. I want Moana.
Oh, you can find me on Instagram at the real life Moana and also at moananuipodcast.com. And you can check out our merch and our comic books, the Wildcard Chronicles, at moanamcadams.com.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank Alan for coming on the show, taking the time to hang out with us. I really appreciate it. Also, thanks to Moana from the Moana Nui podcast, co-hosting and kicking it with us for a little bit as we did the thing. So thank you, Moana. And big shout out to you too, Moana, because you be looking out for the homie, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I am very thankful that you made us your sponsor for the season 2. So thank you so much for that. I got you, as I told you off here. You getting something. Everybody else who tuned in today, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. This is episode 104. We are officially booked to episode 112 right now. Got tons of people coming on here, tons of people that we're going to be talking to and getting comfortable with and things like that. So please come on back tomorrow. I am bringing back Inevitably Dope. We are working on his new shirt. I got that thing called a Kickstarter going, so go ahead and check that out. I just put the links in there. And tomorrow, or maybe late tonight, I will be unleashing the Kickstarter stretch goals, as I've been working on those all day today. I might, if we break 3,500 today, I will pathetically attempt 50 more push-ups. All right. So let's hit that goal so you guys can all laugh at me as I attempt these things. We still got 19 more days. But thank you for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at about 8:30 tomorrow for the next episode. And I will keep you guys all posted. I appreciate you all. Everybody stay epic.
Here comes a new challenger.